I just want to, because it is what you guys were talking about earlier, it's quite topical. But then, of course, you played in an era when, of course, no helmets.
In my era, no helmets.
When you watch the batters?
Didn't get it, no, I can't, people didn't get hit on the head. You got out of the way. You just got out of the way. And there was an intimidation law, if you remember, that the umpires would stop or warn fast bowlers that this batter, 9, 10, 11, can't handle this, therefore don't bowl any bouncers. And then helmets came in and everybody's fair game, and you'd see quite a number that are hit on the helmet. Some tragically, which is, unbelievably sad. But in the era that I played, you just got out the way. Get out the way.
So rugby's got concussion in rugby. My son plays football now. He's 7, and they're not allowed to head the ball.
Yeah.
Okay. And I don't think they're allowed to head the ball until they're 9 or 10, but I might be wrong. But essentially, they're not allowed to head the ball. NFL has got a huge problem with concussion, so this is all going through the courts.
Yep.
Rugby's trying to change the game. Does cricket have a problem with concussion?
Yeah, so helmets don't stop concussion. You know that, right? So
No, but I'm sure they probably help a little bit.
No, they don't at all. You got hit in the face in your cheekbone with a bouncer, right? Broke your cheekbone?
Yeah, depressed. It was a depressed cheekbone. Going for a hook shot off Bob Cotton, who was a medium fast bowler, a decent bouncer. I've gone for the shot, I've missed it.
Yeah.
And it's hit me straight in the face.
So a helmet would stop him getting his broken face, right?
Yeah.
That's what helmets are designed to do. What happens is helmets, and this is why it doesn't help in the NFL, it doesn't help in other places, is concussion is your brain bouncing around your head.
Impact.
So people got hit in the head a lot less when Bumble played than they do now.
Yeah.
Partly because if you got hit in the head those days, it might have been the end of your day. Also, pitches are harder, pitches are faster. We have covered wickets now. People bowl quicker. There's way more 90-mile-an-hour bowlers now than there's ever been in the history of cricket. So there's a lot of changes. Sweeps and laps and scoops and reverses and all these things, right? People are getting hit in the helmet a lot more. And if you look at it, it's really probably 80s and 90s when players were willing to get hit in the helmet, right? And go, okay, well, I'll keep my hands out the way and I'll sway around a little bit, but if it hits me in the helmet, I'm not out. We didn't have any idea that there was other damage being put there, because you look at the helmet, there's one behind Bumble's head at the moment. You look at the helmet and you go, well, that looks like it should be protecting me. It's now what we are finding is that the brain is bouncing around in the head. Right? And that is the issue. And I think we really have to train younger cricketers that you might have a helmet, but it is not okay to be hit in the head, because that is causing you other problems. And I think that there is no doubt West Indian cricketers, Australian cricketers, shorter cricketers, opening batters, short legs, I think have been hit in the head a lot in their life. And I think there's a lot of issues. There's Herbert Chang in the West Indies. His family believe that he has probably had CTE. He's had a lot of mental health issues. We're starting to see players come through, that I think probably do have some issues with CTE and everything else.
So when you say that, we're not going to mention names, but do you mean players who played the game in the 80s and 90s who are now maybe either in the coaching, so we hear them speak, or they're on TV and we hear them speak? And
former players. I mean, so Justin Langer is the one that we could say his name, because Cricket Australia said you can't get hit in the head anymore. He was told by Cricket Australian doctors, you've been hit in the head too many times, right? And sometimes you hear Justin Langer, and I think, Justin Langer is an interesting one because he can be very smart and he can be very silly. So sometimes it's hard to tell where he's going. But I think he does get lost sometimes. And I think I watched him, all three of us watched him play a lot. He got hit in the head as much as anyone I've ever seen. I mean, the amount of times the ball hit him in the head. And it's not just when he was batting, because he was at short leg as well, right? And so I do think there is something very, very, there's a question that we have to have when it comes to this. And I don't think we're going to have the same problem that rugby has had and that the NFL has had and boxing and any of those others. But we do have to start to understand that probably short leg is something that we need to rotate a little bit more. We need to say to young players, you cannot get hit in the head. The helmet is stopping you from having a fractured skull. It is not stopping you from mental health issues and physical issues when you get older.
I assume that for junior cricket that they're not allowed to stand within a certain distance of the bat. I assume that. But the interesting, I fielded at short leg for 19 years. Got hit once.
Yeah.
But prior to helmets, this is the interesting bit, you at short leg had the right to say to the captain, I'm off. Don't fancy this.
Yeah.
I think I'm in danger. I'm off. And the captain, 100% every time. Okay, no worries. We won't have one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So you would
I'm off.
forego with the fielding position?
Yeah, just
altogether.
I'm off. Can't do it. Sorry, mate. I'm in danger here. I'm off.
I fielded short leg in a club game where the spinner got hit for like 28 runs. And I asked every single, and no helmet, no nothing, just at short. And I eventually said to are you waiting for me to die? Like, what are we doing here? He's hitting sixes. He's not hitting it anywhere near short leg. And this is not going to work for me. But I think in modern cricket...
How did they go down in the tough...
It didn't go down very well.
Australian kind of,
well
machismo.
Yeah. But we have to be honest now, right?
I had an absolute belter. So I'm short leg, here I am, and it's versus Somerset again. In he walks. IVA Richards will have 2 slips, a gully and a short leg. I said, we effing won't. We ain't having a short leg, cheerio. Cheerio, Hector stood by the umpire. No way I ain't standing
You got
there.
hit once. Who hit you?
Majid Khan. It was a speculative, I think it was Peter Lever. A speculative leg side half volley. He's a wonderful player, Majid Khan. He flicked like that. Hit me straight there, right on the bony bit, and bounced up to mid-on. There's a little fella, Harry Pilling, who batted number 3, who caught it. So he's out, and I'm out. I'm flat out. I'm gone. And so he's walked off. I'm carried off. And so that was the only time I can recall being whacked on the head. But you might remember Roger Davis died on the field and was brought back to life by Bernard Thomas, who was the Warwickshire physiotherapist on the ground at the time. He got hit. Neil Aberley, a little flick and hit him on the side of the head. And he momentarily died on the field and was brought back. A lovely lad, Roger Davis, Glamorgan.
So what can we do? Do we say, okay, you can only field short leg for 10 over spells and then you've got to change the fielder?
I would definitely do that. But I think the most important thing is you just
complicating the game.
Yeah, well, you're right. But I think the more important thing is to tell all these people that the helmet is not doing what they think it's doing. That's what they need to know. That's what players need to know. It is stopping you from breaking a bone. It is not actually...
Can you modify the helmet?
No. So the issue is, you will love this, we're trying to work out through science what we can do. And so the woodpeckers don't get concussion. And as we all know, they're banging their heads quite a bit. They're banging their beaks as they're doing the pecking of the wood.
Yes.
That's the scientific term, if you need it. And so woodpeckers don't get concussions. But woodpeckers, it's something to do with their tongues. So that's why you see a lot of NFL players with things on their tongues now. They're trying to see if the tongue is the thing that will help the brain. But we're a long way from solving this. So the best thing we can do at the moment is tell every cricketer and every professional athlete in the world is, every time you get hit in the head, that might come back later on in life.
Are there any statistics that tell us, say, in the last 10 years, how many short legs have been hit?
No, I don't think anyone keeps those stats. Right?
That would be interesting.
One thing I would see, and I reckon you would have noticed this as well, short legs field a lot deeper than they used to.
Don't they ever? I mean, I'm going back to, these are names from yesteryear. If we're going on YouTube and a lot of young people watching this, I'll just tell you about 2 players from way back, Tony Gregg and Brian Close. And the law of the game was that the fielder, you cannot put your feet or field on the cut strip. They used to get warned, can you move back? They would encroach at silly point and at short leg and right on the edge of the cut bit. And so now you'll see them way back. And when I was doing commentary, I'd regularly say, it's too deep.
Yeah.
It's too deep.
So I think that's a couple of things. I think it's also that the ball rebounds further off the bats now. And I think there was a lot of edges on the pads that were going over the top of the fielders in close.
Right.
So what you get now is a lot of times people take catches off the face of the bat because they're so far back.
And again, uncovered pitches where the ball would just plop up into the air. So you had to be close.
So it is different. So that's one thing I think is important. But I just think people need to know that helmets don't stop concussions.
It's interesting, Jarrod, that they stood back, and one reason is that they're actually looking to take the catch off the face of the bat.
That's what I mean, yeah.
Whereas the fielding position used to be called, it probably still is, bat pad.
Exactly, yeah.
Because you were looking for the inside edge onto the pad, bat pad up in the air. Thank you very much. Now they're looking to catch off the face of the bat.
You don't get as much bat pads as well
No,
anyway,
you don't.
because DRS has come in, so people don't throw their pads out.
Different style of play.
Yeah.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.